They called us prey. HFY Nexus Archives. Part 1, The Hunters Arrive. First contact was not what we expected. Dr. Sarah Mitchell stood in the observation deck of Research Station Artemis, watching Earth spin slowly below her. She had spent 15 years studying the stars, searching for signs of intelligent life. She had written papers about what first contact might look like. She had imagined peaceful meetings, cultural exchanges, scientific cooperation. She had never imagined this. Dr. Mitchell, we're receiving another transmission, said Lieutenant James Park. His voice was shaking. It's the same message. They want our answer within 6 hours. Sarah closed her eyes. The message had arrived 3 days ago. A massive alien fleet had appeared at the edge of our solar system without warning. No gradual approach. No friendly greeting. Just sudden arrival and immediate demands. The message was simple and terrifying. It was translated perfectly into every human language, which meant these aliens had been watching us for a long time. Attention human species. You have been selected for incorporation into the Vorax Collective. Your planet contains resources we require. Your species will be relocated to designated zones. Those who cooperate will be treated fairly. Those who resist will be eliminated. You have 72 hours to surrender your governments and military forces. This is not a negotiation. Sarah had been in the meeting when Earth's leaders discussed their response. The room had been filled with presidents, prime ministers, generals, and scientists. Everyone had their own opinion. Some wanted to surrender immediately. They argued that resistance was pointless against a species that could cross the galaxy. Others wanted to fight. They said dying free was better than living as slaves. In the end, they had decided to do something the aliens probably didn't expect. They asked questions. Earth sent a transmission back to the Vorax fleet. It was polite but firm. We wish to understand your intentions. Why do you need our planet? Are there alternatives? Can we discuss peaceful coexistence? We are willing to negotiate. The Vorax response came 6 hours later. It was not what anyone hoped for. Your questions are irrelevant. You are prey. We are predators. This is the natural order. You will submit or you will die. There is no third option. Prey. They had called humanity prey. Sarah turned to Lieutenant Park. What's the status of our defenses? Park pulled up a holographic display. Not good, Doctor. We have approximately 200 military vessels capable of space combat. Most were designed for asteroid mining operations, not warfare. The Vorax fleet has over 800 ships, all heavily armed. Our weapons are mostly projectile-based. There's use energy beams that can cut through our hulls like paper. So we can't win a direct fight? No, ma'am. According to military analysis, we'd last maybe 4 hours in open combat. Maybe. Sarah looked at Earth. 7 billion people lived on that planet. Families. Children. Artists and scientists and ordinary people just trying to live their lives. All of them now classified as prey by creatures who saw conquest as natural. Lieutenant, I want you to send a message to Admiral Chen. Tell him I need to speak with him immediately. What are you planning, Doctor? Sarah smiled. It was not a happy smile. I'm planning to teach these aliens something they should have learned before they came here. I'm planning to show them that prey can be dangerous. The biology of survival. Admiral David Chen arrived at Research Station Artemis 4 hours later. He was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had spent 30 years in Earth's space forces, mostly dealing with pirates and smugglers. He had never expected to command humanity's defense against alien invaders. Dr. Mitchell, you said this was urgent. We have less than 2 hours before the Vorax deadline expires. Sarah pulled up a series of images on her computer. Admiral, I've been studying the Vorax transmissions. Not just the words, but everything else. The video feeds they sent, the background sounds, even the way they move and speak. I think I've found something important. Chen leaned forward. What? The Vorax are apex predators. That much is obvious from their behavior. But I don't think they've ever faced serious resistance before. Look at this. Sarah showed him footage from the Vorax transmissions. The aliens were impressive creatures. They stood nearly 3 meters tall with 4 powerful arms and thick armored skin. Their eyes were set forward like Earth's predators, designed for hunting. They moved with confidence, like creatures that had never known fear. Every species they've conquered has been peaceful, Sarah continued. I hacked into their data broadcasts. The Vorax have absorbed 47 different civilizations over the past 2,000 years. All of them were herbivore species or peaceful omnivores. Species that evolved without predators. Species that didn't know how to fight. Chen's eyes narrowed. And humanity is different, Admiral. We didn't evolve on a peaceful world. Earth is a death world by galactic standards. We evolved alongside predators that wanted to eat us. We developed tools and weapons and strategies just to survive. We learned to fight before we learned to farm. Sarah pulled up an image of human evolution. Our ancestors were not the strongest animals on Earth. We were not the fastest. We were not the most dangerous. But we survived because we learned to hunt the hunters. We became predators ourselves. Chen sat back in his chair. You're saying the Vorax have never fought another predator species? Exactly. They think of themselves as lions hunting sheep. They expect us to run or freeze in fear. They expect an easy conquest. Sarah's eyes hardened. They don't understand that humans are wolves, not sheep. And wolves hunt in packs. What do you suggest we do? Sarah laid out her plan. It was risky. It was brutal. It went against every instinct that said humans should seek peaceful solutions first. But as she explained her strategy, Admiral Chen began to nod slowly. This could work, he said finally. But it means accepting heavy losses. A lot of people will die. A lot of people will die anyway if we surrender, Sarah replied. At least this way, we're fighting back. At least this way, we have a chance. Chen stood up. I'll present this to the military council. If they approve, we'll need to move fast. The deadline expires in 90 minutes. I know. But Admiral, there's one more thing. Sarah pulled up a final image. It showed Earth from space, beautiful and blue and fragile. We need to send the Vorax one more message before we begin. Something that makes our position absolutely clear. What message? Sarah typed quickly and showed him the screen. Chen read it twice, then smiled grimly. They're not going to like this. Good. That's the point. The message that changed everything. With 60 minutes remaining before the Vorax deadline, Earth sent its final transmission. It was broadcast on all frequencies so that every ship in the alien fleet could receive it. The message was simple. To the Vorax Collective. You have called us prey. You have demanded our surrender. You have given us no choice but submission or death. You have made a critical error. You assume that because you are predators, you are superior. You assume that because you have conquered 47 species, you will conquer us easily. You are wrong. Humanity evolved on a world where everything wanted to kill us. We survived by becoming better killers. We learned to hunt creatures larger and stronger than ourselves. We learned to fight with our minds when our bodies were not enough. We turned the entire planet into our hunting ground. You call yourselves predators? We exterminated the predators on our world. Wolves, bears, lions, tigers, we hunted them all. Not because we needed to. Because we could. Because humans do not accept being prey. You have given us two choices, submit or die. We choose a third option. We choose to make you regret coming here. In 60 minutes, your deadline expires. When it does, we will not surrender. We will attack. And we will teach you what happens when predators mistake wolves for sheep. This is your only warning. Leave our solar system now, or face the consequences. Humanity does not run. Humanity does not submit. Humanity fights. And humanity wins. The message ended. Across Earth and its orbital stations, people waited in silence. In bunkers and shelters, families held each other. In military vessels, soldiers checked their weapons one final time. In government buildings, leaders prayed to gods they hoped were listening. The Vorax response came 30 minutes later. It was broadcast with laughter in the background. Their commander appeared on screen, all four arms spread wide in what might have been amusement. Humans, your message is entertaining. You claim to be dangerous? You are primitives who have barely left your own planet. We have conquered 47 species. We have destroyed civilizations that had weapons you cannot imagine. Your threats mean nothing. Your resistance will be crushed. When the deadline expires, we will demonstrate what happens to prey that forgets its place. The transmission ended. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of the ESS Defiant, humanity's largest warship. Around him, officers worked at their stations with grim determination. Every face showed fear, but also resolve. All ships, battle stations, Chen ordered. Prepare to execute Operation Wolfpack on my command. Dr. Sarah Mitchell watched from Research Station Artemis as the countdown reached 0. She thought about her family on Earth. She thought about her students who had dreamed of meeting friendly aliens. She thought about all the scientists who had believed first contact would be peaceful and hopeful. Those dreams were gone now. What remained was survival. What remained was proving that humanity would not be anyone's prey. The deadline expired. For 10 seconds, nothing happened. The Vorax fleet held position at the edge of the solar system, waiting to see if the humans would surrender at the last moment. They did not surrender. Instead, Earth's defense fleet activated. 200 ships against 800. Impossible odds. Suicidal odds. But the humans were not planning to fight a traditional battle. They were planning to do what humans had always done best. They were planning to hunt. The hunt begins when predators meet wolves. Admiral Chen watched his tactical display as the human fleet split into 20 small groups. Each group contained 10 ships. They spread out across the solar system, moving in different directions. No formation. No organized attack pattern. Just scattered vessels fleeing randomly. To the Vorax, it looked like panic. It looked like prey running in fear. It was exactly what Chen wanted them to think. Admiral, the Vorax fleet is breaking formation, reported Tactical Officer Lieutenant Zhao. They're splitting into hunter groups to chase our ships. Just like you predicted. Chen nodded slowly. The Vorax were doing exactly what their nature demanded. When prey scattered, predators gave chase. It was instinct. It was biology. And it was their first mistake. All ships, execute Phase 2, Chen ordered. Let's show these hunters what it means to chase wolves. The human ships had been running for 30 minutes when the Vorax caught them. Each human group was pursued by a Vorax hunter pack of 40 ships. 40 against 10. Easy odds for the aliens. The first Vorax commander to catch a human group opened fire immediately. His energy beams tore through the hull of one human ship, destroying it instantly. The humans scattered further, looking desperate and afraid. The Vorax pursued, confident in their victory. They did not notice the asteroid field they were entering. They did not notice how the human ships were leading them deeper into the rocks. They did not notice until it was too late. Now, whispered Commander Maria Santos aboard the ESS Raptor. Her ship had been playing the role of wounded prey, drawing the Vorax deeper into the trap. Detonate the charges. Across the asteroid field, hidden explosives activated. Rocks that had been carefully prepared with mining charges exploded simultaneously. The Vorax hunter pack found itself in a storm of debris moving at lethal speeds. Their shields held against most impacts, but not all. Ships were damaged. Formation broke down. Confusion spread. And then the human ships stopped running. They turned and attacked. 10 human vessels against 38 remaining Vorax ships. Still terrible odds. But the humans were not fighting in open space anymore. They were fighting in the asteroids, where large ships were vulnerable and small vessels could hide and strike and disappear. The humans knew this terrain. They had trained here for years, practicing mining operations and rescue missions. They knew every rock, every hiding spot, every angle of approach. The Vorax did not. Human ships darted between asteroids, firing missiles, and then vanishing before the Vorax could target them. Vorax beams cut through rocks but missed the fast-moving human vessels. When a Vorax ship tried to pursue, humans would lead it into a narrow canyon of rock where its larger hull couldn't maneuver effectively. It became a nightmare for the Vorax. They had expected to hunt fleeing prey. Instead, they were being picked apart by enemies who used the terrain like a weapon. Across the solar system, the same scenario played out 20 times. 20 Vorax hunter packs chased human ships into prepared ambushes. Asteroid fields, debris clouds, the rings of Saturn, every battlefield had been chosen by the humans specifically to neutralize the Vorax advantages. The first day of fighting ended with the Vorax fleet reduced by 200 ships. The human fleet had lost 80 vessels. Mathematically, the humans were still losing. But something had changed in the psychology of the battle. The Vorax had expected an easy victory. Instead, they had bled. The lesson continues. The Vorax High Commander Vex Thrall watched the battle reports with growing anger. He stood in the command center of his flagship, the Blood Talon, surrounded by tactical displays showing the destruction of his forces. "This is impossible," he growled. His forearms clenched into fists. These primitives should have been conquered already. How are they doing this? His second officer, a younger Vorax named Krell, spoke carefully. "Commander, the humans are not fighting like the species we have conquered before. They are not attempting to defend positions. They are not trying to win battles. They are simply trying to kill as many of us as possible before they die." "Suicide tactics?" Vex Thrall asked. "No, Commander. Something different. They are sacrificing ships, yes. But each sacrifice costs us more than it costs them. They lure our hunter packs into traps. They use the terrain against us. They study our tactics and adapt. It is as if..." Krell hesitated. "As if what?" "As if they have been prey before. As if they learned these tactics by being hunted themselves." Vex Thrall slammed his fist on the console. "We are the hunters. We are Vorax. We have conquered 47 species. These humans will learn to fear us." But the truth was that Vex Thrall himself was beginning to feel something he had never felt before. Not quite fear. Not yet. But uncertainty. Doubt. The uncomfortable feeling that maybe, just maybe, the humans were not the easy prey he had expected. The second week of fighting brought new horrors for the Vorax. The humans changed tactics again. Now they were not just defending. They were attacking. Small human ships began appearing near Vorax supply convoys. They would strike fast, destroy cargo vessels, and disappear before reinforcements could arrive. The Vorax tried to defend their supply lines, but the humans seemed to know exactly where to strike and when. Because they did know. Dr. Sarah Mitchell had cracked the Vorax communication codes during the first week of fighting. Now Earth's command center could listen to every Vorax transmission. They knew where the supply ships would be. They knew which ships were damaged and vulnerable. They knew everything. The Vorax had thought humans were primitive. They had not realized that human technology, while different from theirs, was sophisticated in its own way. Human computers, human cryptography, human signals intelligence, all of it had been developed through decades of humans spying on each other. Now those skills were being used against an external enemy. Admiral Chen used the intelligence brilliantly. He sent human ships to ambush Vorax supply convoys exactly when they were most vulnerable. He attacked damaged Vorax vessels before they could repair. He found every weakness in the Vorax deployment and exploited it ruthlessly. The Vorax had expected to hunt sheep. Instead, they had awakened a pack of wolves. And wolves, unlike sheep, understood how to hunt predators. The cost of arrogance. 1 month after the invasion began, High Commander Vex Thrall called a war council. His senior officers gathered in the command center of the Blood Talon. Every face showed exhaustion and frustration. "Report," Vex Thrall demanded. Krell stepped forward with the numbers. "Commander, we have lost 437 ships. More than half our invasion force. Human losses are estimated at 140 vessels. At this rate, we will be destroyed before we can conquer Earth." Silence filled the command center. 400 ships lost. Against primitives. Against a species that had barely left its own planet. It was unthinkable. "How is this possible?" Vex Thrall asked quietly. "We are Vorax. We are the greatest hunters in the galaxy." One of the older officers, a scarred veteran named Thex, spoke up. "Commander, I have reviewed human history. I have studied their evolution. I believe I understand what we are facing." "Explain." Thex pulled up images of Earth. "The humans evolved on what they call a death world. Their planet is more dangerous than any we have encountered. Extreme weather. Natural disasters. Predatory animals. Disease. The humans survived all of it by becoming better killers than anything that hunted them." Vex Thrall waved dismissively. "Many species evolve under pressure. That does not explain this." "It does, Commander. Because the humans did not just survive their predators. They exterminated them. Every large predator on Earth was hunted to near extinction by humans. Wolves, bears, great cats, all of them learned to fear humans or died. The humans turned their entire planet into their territory." Thex paused. "And then, when they ran out of external predators, they turned on each other. Human history is filled with wars. They have been fighting and killing each other for their entire existence. They have developed weapons and tactics and strategies over thousands of years of constant combat." "So we are fighting a warrior species?" Krell asked. "Worse," Thex said. "We are fighting a species that thinks like predators but had to survive as prey. They know both sides of the hunt. They know how predators think because they are predators. But they also know how prey survives because they were prey. They use both perspectives against us." Vex Thrall stared at the images of Earth. Beautiful blue planet. Peaceful appearance. Hiding a species that had clawed its way to the top of its food chain through pure determination and violence. "What do you recommend?" he asked Thex. The old officer met his eyes. "I recommend we leave. Now. Before we lose our entire fleet. The humans are not like the species we conquered before. They will not submit. They will not stop fighting. If we stay, they will destroy us." "Retreat?" Vex Thrall's voice was dangerous. "The Vorax do not retreat. The Vorax have never faced humans before," Vex replied calmly. "Pride is useful, Commander. But pride should not lead us to extinction." Vex Thrall considered this. Part of him wanted to refuse. Part of him wanted to throw everything he had at Earth and crush these impudent primitives. But another part, the part that had kept him alive through 100 battles, was screaming warnings. The humans had hurt him. Badly. And they showed no signs of stopping. They adapted to every tactic he used. They found weaknesses he didn't know he had. They fought with a creativity and determination that no other species had shown. Maybe Thex was right. Maybe pride was not worth extinction. "Send a transmission to the human fleet," Vex Thrall ordered. "Tell them we wish to discuss terms. When wolves speak." Admiral Chen received the Vorax transmission with surprise. He had expected the aliens to keep fighting until they were destroyed or until they destroyed humanity. He had not expected them to ask for negotiation. He showed the message to Dr. Mitchell. "What do you think?" he asked. "Is this a trick?" Sarah studied the transmission carefully. "I don't think so. Look at the Vorax commander's body language. See how his arms are positioned? According to the xenobiology database, that's a defensive posture. He's scared." "Scared? The mighty Vorax? They've lost more than half their fleet, Admiral. They came here expecting an easy conquest. Instead, they got a war. And they're losing." "Yes, I think he's scared." Chen sat back in his chair. "So what do we do? Accept negotiations?" "That depends. What do you want from this?" Chen looked at Earth on his view screen. The planet showed scars now. Several cities had been damaged in Vorax bombardments during the early fighting. Millions of people had died. The losses were painful, but they could have been so much worse. "I want them gone," Chen said finally. "I want them to leave and never come back. And I want them to tell every other species in the galaxy what happened here. I want the whole universe to know that humans are not prey." Sarah nodded slowly. "Then we negotiate. But from a position of strength. We make them understand exactly what they're dealing with." The negotiation took place on neutral ground, an abandoned mining station halfway between Earth and the Vorax fleet position. Admiral Chen represented humanity. High Commander Vex Thrall represented the Vorax. They met in a large room with no furniture. Both species preferred to stand during important discussions. Chen studied the alien carefully. Vex Thrall was impressive, nearly 3 meters tall with armored skin and 4 powerful arms. A perfect predator. But Chen saw something else. He saw exhaustion in the Vorax's eyes. He saw the weight of losses. He saw doubt. "Admiral Chen," Vex Thrall began. "I am authorized to offer terms. The Vorax will withdraw from your solar system. In exchange, you will cease all attacks on our fleet and allow us to leave peacefully." Chen shook his head. "Not good enough." Vex Thrall's eyes narrowed. "You are in no position to demand more. My fleet still outnumbers yours." "Your fleet is broken," Chen replied calmly. "You've lost more than half your ships. Your supply lines are cut. Your soldiers are exhausted and demoralized. If this fight continues, you will all die. Every single one of you. We'll hunt you until there's nothing left. You cannot know that." "Can't I?" Chen pulled up a display showing Vorax ship positions. "Your flagship has a damaged engine on the port side. Your supply depot near Jupiter is running low on fuel. Your third battle group has been requesting reinforcements for 2 weeks and hasn't received them. Should I continue?" Vex Thrall stared at the display in shock. The humans knew everything. They had been inside Vorax communications from the beginning. "How?" he whispered. "Because we're not the primitives you thought we were," Chen said. "Because we spent decades learning to spy on each other before you arrived. Because we're very, very good at gathering intelligence. And because we understand predators better than you understand prey." Chen stepped closer. "Here are humanity's terms. You will leave our solar system immediately. You will never return. You will tell every species in the Vorax collective what happened here. You will explain that you attacked humans and we destroyed half your fleet. You will make certain that no one else makes the same mistake you did. And if I refuse? Then we finish this. Right now. My fleet is ready. We can attack your ships before you can reach hyperspace velocity. Some of you might escape. Most won't. Is that what you want? Do you want to go home and explain how the mighty Vorax were destroyed by primitives? Or do you want to go home and explain that you wisely avoided a war you couldn't win?" Vex Thrall was silent for a long time. Pride warred with survival. Arrogance fought against wisdom. Finally, survival won. We accept your terms, he said quietly. We will leave. We will spread the word about humanity. No Vorax will trouble your species again. Chen nodded. Good. You have 12 hours to leave our space. After that, we resume hunting. Dextral left without another word. Chen watched him go, feeling no satisfaction. Only exhaustion. The war was over. Humanity had won. But the cost had been terrible. The Vorax fleet departed 8 hours later. They left behind 400 destroyed ships and thousands of dead soldiers. They took with them a lesson they would never forget. On Earth, celebrations erupted. People danced in the streets. They cried with relief. They mourned their dead and celebrated their survival. Dr. Sarah Mitchell stood in the observation deck of Research Station Artemis, watching the last Vorax ship disappear into hyperspace. Admiral Chen stood beside her. We did it, she said quietly. We survived. Yes, Chen agreed. But at what cost? 2 million dead. 80 ships destroyed. A dozen cities damaged. Is that what you mean? That's part of it. But I'm also thinking about what we became. We showed them we could be predators. We showed them we could kill. Is that really how we want to be known in the galaxy? Sarah was quiet for a moment. Admiral, the Vorax called us prey. They assumed we would be easy victims. We had two choices, prove them right or prove them wrong. We chose to survive. That's not evil. That's nature. Maybe. But I hope this was the last time we have to do this. It won't be, Sarah said. The Vorax will tell other species what happened here. Some will be deterred. Some will see us as a threat now. Some might even try to attack us first, before we become too dangerous. Chen sighed. So we'll have to keep fighting? No. We'll have to keep being ready to fight. There's a difference. We showed the galaxy that humans are not prey. Now we need to show them that we can also be friends. We need to find the peaceful species out there. The ones who want cooperation, not conquest. We need to build alliances. You think that's possible? I know it is. The galaxy is huge, Admiral. The Vorax are just one species. There must be others who think differently. Others who will see us as potential allies instead of prey or predators. Chen smiled slightly. When did you become an optimist? When we survived what should have killed us. If humans can do that, we can do anything. They stood together in silence, watching Earth spin below them. The planet that had evolved a species of survivors. The planet that had turned prey into predators. The planet that had just announced to the galaxy that humanity would not be anyone's victim. Somewhere in deep space, Dextral composed his report to the Vorax High Command. It was painful to write. Humiliating. But necessary. The human conquest has failed, he wrote. We lost 437 ships against a force that should have been crushed easily. The humans are unlike any species we have encountered. They are predators who learn to think like prey. They are prey who learn to fight like predators. They are dangerous beyond measure. He paused, then added the final warning. Recommendation to High Command, humanity must be avoided at all costs. They are not a species to be conquered. They are a species to be feared. Any future contact should be approached with extreme caution. The humans have shown us mercy this time by allowing our retreat. They may not show mercy again. Dextral sent the report and looked at the empty space where Earth's solar system had been. Somewhere behind him, a primitive species had just proven they were anything but primitive. The galaxy would remember. And the galaxy would learn. Humanity was not prey. Humanity was not predator. Humanity was something more dangerous than either. Humanity was both. And anyone who forgot that lesson would learn it the hard way. The message spread across the galaxy over the following years. The Vorax kept their word. They told everyone what had happened. Some species laughed at first, dismissing it as Vorax exaggeration. But then other species made contact with humanity and found the stories were true. Humans were friendly and curious and eager to learn. But they were also ready to fight if threatened. They had turned their solar system into a fortress. Their fleet grew larger every year. Their technology advanced rapidly. No one else tried to conquer Earth. Some species became allies. Others kept their distance. But everyone understood the fundamental truth that the Vorax had learned too late. Humans were not sheep waiting to be hunted. They were wolves waiting to see if you would be friend or foe. And if you made the wrong choice, they would teach you the same lesson they had taught the Vorax. Humanity does not run. Humanity does not submit. Humanity survives. Always.